Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to the Brent Dodge here. I'm looking right. Is it if you watch my Instagram story from about an hour ago, 2 hours ago now? These are my two new pins that are rescuers themed. So, continuing with my rescuers wall up here, everything that's here on up is rescuers themed in some way, shape, or form. And we got the jumbo pin, and then this is Bianca. That's Bernard. This is the 30th anniversary of Rescuers Down Under Christmas ornament. This is the 45th anniversary of Rescuers ornament. This is Madame Medusa. This is Bernard and Bianca. Then we got the 35th anniversary of um, Rescuers Down Under there. Up here is the 30th anniversary Rescuers, and then further up is more. It's a lot of Rescuers stuff. Hola! Hello, how you doing, Frank fam? So tonight we're going to be letting you guys choose the topic right now. We do have a poll going on. I don't even see all four options because. So what topic should we cover tonight? Ask the expert, where you guys can ask questions about anything and everything. We can do a deep dive on a attraction. We'll vote on the attraction afterwards. And upcoming changes in the parks. I did see Zootopia Better Together today, and I'm still trying to wrap everything around, but I figure we can talk about that along with other upcoming changes. If you guys vote for that one actually is in the lead right now. Or we can do a hey, take a hike. So let me know. Vote in the chat room. We'll give you guys a few more minutes here. In the meantime, how's everybody doing? Is everyone doing well out there? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Yeah, we're gonna do. Oh, we got a few votes. All the votes right now are for the upcoming changes in the parks, which I'm fine with. That's exciting too. So yeah, we'll get this party started here in just a minute or two. We have a lot to talk about with what's going to be happening in the next week here for both the Wednesday show along with Saturdays in the park. So make sure to stick around for all that stuff as well. But let's get this party started. We are going to start the 846th, I believe was the number, episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 846th episode of the Wednesday show. Today is, what's today? November 5th. Holy cow, 2025. And I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be going through and talking about the topic that you guys want to talk about. Right now, it looks like we're probably going to be talking about the upcoming changes to the Disney parks. But of course, before we get to any of that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you everyone out there who's been joining us for our Saturday in the park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort, or so you would think. Make sure you join us every single Saturday around 1 o'clock, or so you would think, for all the Disney fun. But I know what you're thinking. Why on earth are you saying, or so you'd think? Because this coming up Saturday, we're going to have a very special episode of our Saturday in the park. I know what you're thinking. Well, Zootopia Better Together is going to open up Friday. It just makes sense for us to go watch that show. And yes, that would make sense if we were going to be here in Orlando, but we will not be here in Orlando. So instead, this coming up Saturday, we're going to have a special edition of our Saturday in the Park where we are going to be boarding the wonderful, the spectacular, I hope, because I have not gone on it yet, the amazing Disney Treasure, the most recent cruise ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet. This will not be the Destiny, which just arrived at Port Canaveral the other day, but it will be the Treasure, which was released last December. So we will be going out onto the Disney Treasure this coming up week. And whenever we board, that is going to be where we're going to have our Saturday in the park. So I don't know exactly what time that will be. I know we're going to be heading out there somewhat early in the day. So just make sure that you join us on Saturday at any time. Just make sure you have your alerts on for this channel, because we'll be coming to you live for probably like a 5 to 10, maybe 15-minute broadcast of my first time walking on the ship. Now, I have been on to every single Disney Cruise Line ship that has been up to the Disney Treasure. So I've been on the Magic, the Wonder, the Dream, the Fantasy, and the Wish. The Treasure is the 6th ship in the fleet, so this will be my 6th cruise ship in the fleet that I've attended. And then Destiny, at some point within the next year, we will be going on that as well. But make sure to join us this coming up Saturday as we go on the Disney Destiny, get our first reactions of the ship. But I also know what you're thinking. Well, how long is this cruise, and will we be able to join you live from sea next Wednesday? Yes, you can. So next Wednesday, for our Wednesday show, we will still be broadcasting live at 9:30 Eastern time. However, instead of being here in our wonderful studio, instead we're going to be out in the big blue wet thing, as they say in Muppet Treasure Island. And I don't know what we're going to be doing. I don't know what our itinerary is going to be on that day, but wherever we are next Wednesday, on that cruise, we will be broadcasting you live from the Disney Treasure next Wednesday at 9:30 Central, or Eastern, not Central, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Now, in addition to all of that, let's take a look at our starting numbers for our YouTube channel. Last week, we were trying so hard to hit 9,000 subscribers, and we did it. We are now currently at 9,010 subscribers. If you're one of those 9,010 subscribers out there in the chat room right now, give us an oh yeah in the chat room. And now we're going to have to think of something different to say for the Patreon pals. But thank you everyone out there. If you're subscribed to this channel, awesome. You guys truly, it means a whole lot to me for every single person that has subscribed. We've been trying to get to 9,000 for quite some time. Now we just have to hit 9,011 by the end of the show, and then 10,000 by the end of the year. That is the goal. So spread the word, a friend or two, and overall, let's go hit 10,000. That's our next goal. We're going to get to the 5 digits sometime in the very near future. And of course, as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our wonderful, super duper, always amazing Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out in the chat room, I already said give us an oh yeah for the other one, so give us a double oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Thank you to the Patreon pals. You guys, I truly appreciate every single one of you for helping make this show possible. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time to wrap up our vote, and it looks like we have 100% of you guys have voted for upcoming changes to the Disney parks. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking all about Zootopia, Better Together. We're going to be talking about Tropical Americas. We'll be talking about Monstropolis, and we'll also be talking about the Cars attractions along with Villains Land, what we know so far, what we've seen so far, and a little bit more. Of course, as we go through here, as always, make sure that you go through and ask as many questions in the chat room as possible, because any and all questions are greatly appreciated, and it helps propel the show forward as we go through and try to get that 9,011th subscriber. I know you're out there, and if you're listening, subscribe right now. Okay, so this coming up Friday on November 7th, we are going to have the brand new Zootopia Better Together going on. Now, today I was lucky enough to get into the virtual queue, or at least I had my friend who was up at 7 o'clock get me into the virtual queue. So Lisa from Norway, I greatly appreciate you. But we were able to get into the virtual queue at 7 a.m. and we got called back by 10:30. But luckily with these previews, they allow you to go in a little bit later in the day. So we got over to Disney's Animal Kingdom right around 12:30. And we were able to go do Zootopia Better Together. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of detail about it. So if you don't want spoilers, I apologize and just mute me for the next while, because we're going to be talking quite a bit about this. We will be having a video up tomorrow with like what the queue looks like. I'll try to actually show some of the stuff to you guys right now as well. If you are following me over on YouTube, which is where we're at right now, I did upload a short earlier today too with a very cool little detail that is found in the queue line as well. But Zootopia Better Together has replaced It's Tough to Be a Bug. So let's get this out of the way right off the bat. I was a big fan of It's Tough to Be a Bug. I have been very heartbroken over the last year with all the different changes going on. And when we go through and talk about all these different changes throughout tonight's episode, uh, every single attraction that has been closing down in the last year has truly broken my heart, with the exception of Star Wars Launch Bay, which I was still bummed about, but I just wasn't like heartbroken about. So let's start off this sob fest with "It's Tough to Be a Bug." So "It's Tough to Be a Bug" closed up earlier this year in March, and I have always loved the attraction. It was an opening day attraction featuring Flick the Bug, Hopper the Grasshopper, and a whole lot more. The entire attraction took place in the Tree of Life Theater. Now, when they did announce that they're going to have a brand new Zootopia attraction, I was trying to figure out exactly how they were going to incorporate that into the Tree of Life Theater, because if you've ever been there, and I hope that all of you guys have been there at some point or another, the Tree of Life Theater is literally within the Tree of Life. It's in the base of the Tree of Life, and it just made sense for it to always be a bug show, because it's tough to be a bug. You're shrunk down to the size of a bug while underneath a massive tree. So I was trying to figure out exactly how they're going to go about and do the storyline of the Tree of Life with Zootopia and make everything completely cohesive and make a whole lot of sense. Because I am not going to lie, I did love Zootopia. I love Judy Hopps. I love Nick Wilde. I think both of them, along with all the other characters in Zootopia, are amazing characters from start to finish. We've got some great characters in this one as well. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard at a Disney attraction before as we got to this one. I'll explain exactly what happens in the video tonight too here. But when you're going through the Tree of Life, you know what? Let's just try to pull up the video here. We won't be able to actually send it, but I'll try to show it on here. So when you're going through the Tree of Life, eventually you get to the part where you start going by the old posters. If you remember in It's Tough to Be a Bug, after you went underneath like the roots of the Tree of Life, on your left-hand side, there were posters for the different acts that were going to be coming up inside of the show. And so they had the dung beetles, they had it so it was cleared the room, and a whole lot more. They did the same thing this time, but instead of having it so it's coming attraction posters, instead what we got was these posters right here. And these posters right here, let it focus. You know, let's play it here. Now that I realize that I do have it muted, but right here, it's kind of going through the history of Zootopia and how all the different animals came together and eventually they started to evolve. And the love they shared for one another was so grand that they decided to come to the roots of the Tree of Life and create a brand new day called Zootopia Day. They decided to create this Tree of Life in its own form. This is also going to be where I'll go back to it in just a second. But they've created a Zoo Gather Day after the events that occurred at the end of Zootopia. Here we go. This is going to be right there. Joe Rohde. What? Joe Rohde in mouse form. So they've essentially created this brand new Zootopia Day to celebrate the Zoogetherness. That's the word they're using. It's very unique. They decided to use it so it's all connecting together and having it so all these characters are coming together as one after Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde have saved the day and helped people continue to evolve into harmony. Overall, a great theme. I need to go into a little bit more detail as I go into the show more and more times. Today, we only had the opportunity to go one time, and it was a great show, but there was so much detail in it that I know I missed a lot. So going from there, then we eventually made our way. Oh, here we go. Here. Our ancestors joined together in harmony and declare that anyone can be anything. Now, the thing that is kind of interesting here is if you look at this picture, if it focuses, if you look at this picture, you can tell that they are building the Tree of Life, which means that now the Tree of Life in Disney's Animal Kingdom does have two separate origin stories. One of them being the story that I've told multiple times on my YouTube channel in the past, but in case you've never heard it before, let's do a quick little recap of it. Essentially, what the story of the Tree of Life is once upon a time, there was a seed. All the different animals were in this desert, and they found this seed that fell from the ground, or from the sky, not from the ground. Things don't fall from the ground. They jump from the ground. It fell from the sky, hit the ground. All the animals gathered around, and a booming voice said, Whoever is the strongest animal of you all will plant the seed and bring life to this kingdom. Every single animal stepped forward saying, I'm the strongest one. The elephant attempted, he failed. The gorilla attempted, he failed. The whale attempted, he failed. All the different animals came forward trying to pick up the seed, and no one could do it until finally a teeny tiny ant picked up the seed, planted it, the tree of life bloomed, and with the tree of life, the river started to flow, the waterfall started to go, and life was built all around the area. Overall, great story, amazing story. But now we also have this backup story that this tree was carved by these different animals, featuring the one and only Joe Rody as a mouse. So if you know what Joe Rody looks like, you know that he always has those earrings in his ear, and he also has that famous mustache. So we do have a mouse version of Joe Rody. Joe Zudi? I don't know. It doesn't work. Zoo Rody. Zoo Rody? I don't know what we're going to call them, but it's something. Okay, so after you go through and experience that, eventually you're going to get inside of the Tree of Life Theater. Now, the brand new Tree of Life Theater does have this really cool sign there. It's completely carved out. The old one had it so there were different signs that were kind of scattered around the area, but nothing that was like straight up, hey, this is Zootopia, or not Zootopia, this is the Tree of Life Theater. So then we've got these different signs that are kind of scattered around the lobby as well, focusing on the first Zoo-Gather Day. Now, with the story of Zoo-Gather, if you go through and you start to read some of these things, you will learn that there is this brand new celebration that you are invited to go to a watch party for inside of the Tree of Life Theater. And this gathering will allow us to celebrate Zoo-Gather Day. And with Zoo-Gather Day, we're going to have two grand marshals in the form of Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps. In addition to this, I know some of you guys are wondering, because I know I actually did wonder multiple times exactly what on earth was going to happen to the giant dung ball that's at the lobby. Now, if you've ever seen it, there is this giant dung ball that you can find in the lobby for It's Tough to Be a Bug. And it says, this dung ball literally brought down the house during a stage production of The King and I. And this time around, it is now a unity ball where different animals from all around Zootopia have put their paw prints on to mark the occasion of Zootogetherness. So the dung beetle lives, or the dung ball lives, it just lives in a completely different way than I ever would have anticipated it living. Which I find very funny, because I was not sure exactly how they're going to do it, but they did it. And I don't know how, but they did it. So also, while you are in the lobby, we have it so you can find out that Heidi Howler, Heidi Howler, Heidi Ho, Heidi Howler, if it focuses on her, it's not focusing. It's a picture of a video. Heidi Howler is going to be our host for this live stream, and she's going to be going through and welcoming us to the festivities that are being broadcast on television. But again, we are watching a live performance here inside of the area. Some of my favorite details that are also in here is while you are in there, you can find these tubes, much like the tubes that you can find in Rodentia in the film. And then you can see like that miniature trash can, which is also like the trash cans they are now selling over at the Emporium. It's the same size. Maybe it's a little smaller, actually, now that I look at it. Because my trash can's over there, and I can see that one. I think that one's actually bigger. So our brand new poster for the things, again, a video of a video is not the greatest thing, but they are advertising that this entire thing is done in Carrot 3D or Carrot glasses. So your 3D glasses are now Carrot Vision glasses. And it helps enhance the sight, the sound, and everything else that is going to be found inside of the area. On top of that, we've got a lot of other posters that are kind of scattered around. My personal favorite, let's see if we can get here, is, wait a minute. So they have these posters, and all the posters play tribute to different details. But this one says Run Zootopia, but if you look at it closely, it is actually the Run Disney logo. And you guys know me, I am obsessed with Run Disney. In addition to that, we have it so you can find things like spacious studio apartment living, quiet, friendly neighbors, complimentary. I hit the wrong thing. We have posters in here for Gazelle. We got posters in here for other shows that have been shown inside of the theater as well, like we have in the past. And then we also had this little poster at the top there for ZPD, featuring Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. And again, they're pointing out the fact that these two are going to be the people who are the host or the grand marshals of the parade during Together Day at the thing. I also like the fact that this poster here is National Geographic instead of National Geographic. So a lot of different little puns that are found inside of this thing that most people were not paying attention to, and it was kind of driving me crazy. Now, when we did get into the lobby today, they did not have it so we could. They had it so we could spend as much time in the lobby as we wanted to, but the problem was my friend and I got in there right around the time when we were about to get ushered into the area or into the show. So we didn't get too much time in there. I would like a lot more time, and I know I will get a lot more time. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just, a little behind. We also had, instead of Pandora jewelry, if it focuses here, it's Pa Dora jewelry. But yeah, then we just have the different tundras that we're going to be visiting. So we're going to be visiting 3 different shows or 3 different sections of Zootopia while we are watching the show. Number 1 on the map is going to be the Tree of Life Theater, the location that we are going to be watching from. Number 2 is the Predator and Prey Ice Ballet, which is an Arctic thing. And then we have it so there is the Marsh Maids? Yeah, Marsh Maids. And then the Shrew Angels, and then finally Gazelle is going to be the 5 different things that are found all around Zootopia. Now, the next part I don't actually have, which is going to be the show itself, but let's talk a little bit about the show. Again, if you guys have any questions about the show, throw them into the chat room. So the show itself was hilarious, but I also feel like it's one of those shows that there is so much going on that I need to go experience it at least 20 more times. And even after 20 times, I don't think I'll catch all of the stuff because there were so many different things that were found inside this theater that paid tribute to different things in the movie, and also along with It's Tough to Be a Bug, and a whole lot more. So let's talk a little bit about the show. We're not going to go into complete detail about it. I would love everyone out there to go experience it for themselves. But let's talk a little bit about just kind of scene by scene breakdown, and then without going into like a ton of detail. So number 1, you have the chance to be brought up on stage. So at the very start of the show, they do select one person in the theater to come up on stage. And I don't know if it's going to happen every time, but it was kind of ironic that they decided to choose Officer Clawhauser. So the officer that is found in the lobby of Zootopia Police Department, he is the person that they choose up there. It's actually really funny because originally they're going to choose Flash, 100-yard dash. So Flash is the person that they choose, but Flash starts moving too slow, and so Officer Clawhauser pops into the thing. He's like, "Oh my gosh, they chose me!" And then, of course, his automatronic goes to the spot where we used to have Hopper, the automatronic, for It's Tough to Be a Bug. Now, Officer Clawhauser is a massive automatronic, and he is there for not the entire show, but the majority of the show. You can actually find him up there, which, in my opinion, was one of the greatest aspects of this show, because I always love when we have it so it's not just a screen the entire time. Like, I love things like PhilharMagic, but it's also great when PhilharMagic also adds in Donald behind you and adds in like a little bit of a twist outside of the theater. Same thing with how It's Tough to Be a Bug always was with Hopper there. This is going to be the same thing with Zootopia Better Together, is now we have Officer Clawhauser there on the side, and he is going through and helping us go through the entire story. In fact, he is like the driving force throughout the entire story and helping us get to the spots that we need to get to. So he has been chosen to be up there and start the party, but of course he hits the wrong button, which causes a lot of chaos all around the area. Heidi Howler is up on the stage, and she is, the person who just kind of is bringing us through this entire thing. And she brings us over to our tundra town where we have the predator and prey, ice ballet, and chaos starts to go everywhere. And when we start to see this chaos, it ends up that there is some sort of things going on that are causing things for Together Day to go wrong. So we don't know exactly who it is, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I want you guys to watch the show and figure out exactly who it is. But we need to join Judy and Nick on a police chase throughout the entire city to figure out exactly who's causing what. Now, as we go through the show into the next scene, we get over to the marshlands. Now, in the marshlands, we have a walrus and we have a beaver, and they start saying, "Hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub." Hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, hey, bub, hey, bub. Now, this is the funniest. I hope I can do this scene justice. Okay. So, I couldn't stop saying "Hey, bub" the rest of the day. So, when we were going through the show, they decide that they are going to go through and use every single aspect of It's Tough to Be a Bug in the show, with the exception of the stinging bees that are behind you, the stinging wasps or the hornets from It's Tough to Be a Bug. Every other special effect can be found in this brand new show. With the Hey Bubs, these guys start to have it till they're talking so much that saliva starts to fly out of their mouth. And it gets to the point where they're going, "Hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub." And we sat far enough back that all you saw in the theater was all this water shooting up. And, oh my gosh. All you saw was all this water flying everywhere. And when this water was flying everywhere, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And I could not stop laughing. I'm still laughing about it right now. Where all I could think was, someone's gonna drown in the show someday. Like, they're gonna show they shoot at so much water. I was like, you're gonna walk out, there's gonna be like a puddle because it's like, "Hey, bub, hey, bub, hey, bub." Just see the water. People are not gonna find it as funny as I do. So I was with my friend Lisa, and I was laughing so hard. And afterwards, I was like, I think I was the only person laughing that hard at that thing. She goes, "I was laughing pretty hard too." I was like, "Okay, so you found it funny?" She's like, "No." She goes, "You found it so funny. It was hilarious." But it was absolutely hilarious. And I honestly, I just want to go on the show over and over and over again. Just because. Hey, bub. Hey, bub. So, I'm not gonna lie. The next scene and a half, I can't even remember what happened because I was literally laughing so hard. I have zero clue what happened next in the show. All I know is eventually we get together to the concert with Gazelle. There's a giant fan there, and we have it so Judy and Nick start to figure out exactly who the person is. I don't know what clue they got to figure out exactly who it was or how to catch the person, because that actually is a very important plot point. Because again, I could not stop laughing at it. I cannot wait to go back to the show and potentially not lose it with laughter, but I'm gonna lose it with laughter. I can tell. It reminded me of when I went to see Inside Out 2 and Pouchy came on screen and I couldn't. It's like, "Hey, boys and girls, I have a stick of dynamite." That was essentially the same amount of laughter that I had at Inside Out 2 was what I had today, and I could not stop laughing. So I'm not gonna lie, like I said, I have zero clue what happened after that. I really have no clue. I've been trying to piece the pieces together. I asked Lisa. Lisa had a much better idea than I did because I could not stop laughing at it. And literally, we rode Dinosaur 5 times afterwards because it's Dinosaur, and I'm trying to get to my 100 times. And while we were riding Dinosaur, I just kept on looking at her while we were in line and going, "Hey, bub." Overall, I really enjoyed the show. If you can get me laughing that hard at anything, you win. In my book, you win. So I am extremely excited to go back to Zootopia Better Together in the very near future. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll be able to squeeze a ride in before the cruise. Part of me is kind of thinking, I wonder if I can get over there on Saturday before I head off to Port Canaveral for the cruise and do it one more time, because I know that I missed a lot, but at the same time, I feel like if I go over there on Saturday, it's going to be insane because it's a brand new attraction. So, or that early in the morning, it's going to be insane. So, overall, I loved Zootopia Better Together. I'm extremely excited to watch it again. I feel like there were a few little details in there that are paying tribute to Zootopia 2, which is kind of coming out later on this month as well. But yeah, Zootopia Better Together. Hey, bub. Oh, okay. Let's move on. You guys wanted to hear about upcoming changes to the park, so let's move on to our next big one. You know what? We're already inside of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Let's move on to the next one. Now, as I said, we have been going on Dinosaur. I've been going on Dinosaur over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So my friend Lisa, she is from Norway. Her and I met 12 years ago when she did the international college program working in the Norway Pavilion. And when when she came back, before she came down, we were messaging back and forth, and she said something about, like how she needs to ride Dinosaur a few times because it's one of her favorite rides, and she's really sad it's going away, and it's going to be her last time ever going on it. And I said, yeah. I was like, well, guess what? I'm trying to go on 100 times before it closes. So if you didn't know, on September 2nd, they announced that Dinosaur was going to be closing on February 1st, was going to be the last day of 2026. And when they made that announcement, I had someone ask me how many times you're going to go on Dinosaur before it closes up. And I kind of jokingly said 100, but then at the same time, I was like, you know what? I can't fit 100 rides in before it closes. So over the last 2 months and 3 days, I've been trying to go on Dinosaur as many times as possible. Today, I did go on for my 57th time. Yeah, 57th. It was my 57th time since September 2nd when they announced the closing date. So Dinosaur is pretty near and dear to my heart, not because of that, but also because I did write this book called A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dino Land USA. Now, if you remember 2 years ago, Disney had their D23 Destination D here in Orlando, Florida, and I sadly did not get in to the event. So I was here at my house listening to updates, and all of a sudden they made the announcement that Dinoland USA would be closing up sometime in the near future to make way for Tropical Americas, which is going to be our next topic here. But when they made that announcement, I said I've always loved Dinoland USA, and I needed to go through and write an entire book about it. So that's what this bad boy is. It is, how many pages? It's 162 pages of pure Dinoland fun. Now, Dinoland has been near and dear to my heart, but the problem is, and I was actually talking to someone at work about this the other day, the problem is when things go away, I'm extremely sad. But then at the same time, I know I can't focus on that sadness because the sadness is not going to bring back the old attraction. Things like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I loved Great Movie Ride. Great Movie Ride was one of my favorite attractions of all time. But by being mad at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, that's not going to bring back Great Movie Ride. So I might as well enjoy what is now. So I am heartbroken that Dinoland USA is going to be going away. However, at the same time, Tropical Americas, I do feel like is going to have a lot of potential. So let's talk a little bit about Tropical Americas. So Tropical Americas is going to have 3 attractions, and in addition to those 3 attractions, we will be getting a brand new quick service restaurant along with some merchandise locations as well. Yay, free stuff. Not free stuff, you have to buy it. But hey, bub. We just had a huge spike in people who just started watching, and then I started saying hey, bub, and we lost all of them. Anyways, so inside of Tropical Americas, we're going to have 3 different attractions. Number 1 is going to be an attraction that is completely based around Encanto. Now, there's a few people, and I still don't understand how these people keep on coming out into my comments on YouTube videos about Tropical Americas or about things that are happening in the future of Disney parks. But I always get these random people who I don't know, and they say, "Oh, I don't understand why they've got Encanto coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. It's not about animals. Antonio literally can talk to animals." So the entire attraction starts off at the family Madrigal's house, La Casa. And once you get into the house, that is going to be where the attraction is going to start. So it looks like it's going to be a nice leisurely boat ride. But while you go through this nice leisurely boat ride, we will be going through all the different animals, or not going through them. That's awful. We're going to be going past all the different animals and have it so Antonio will probably be interacting with them, and we will probably have some sort of story where the animals, along with Antonio, along with the house, all have to come together to overcome some sort of problem. I have no idea if that's what it's going to be about. All of our concept art does feature us on a boat going past Antonio in a room with a bunch of different animals going by. Now, it is rumored, we don't have any 100% confirmation yet, that Lin-Manuel Miranda will be coming back to do some of the music for the attraction. I hope that's true. I don't know if it is true. If I had to guess, I would say yes, but who knows? In addition to that, we are going to have it so there's going to be a carousel that is going to be found inside of Tropical Americas. Now, the carousel will, first off, the Family Magical is going to be where Chester and Hester's Dinorama was. So, where things like Primeval Whirlwind, Triceratops Spin, the Boneyard Games, all that other stuff, that's going to be there. So, right now, there is a lot of dirt in that area. So we don't have any construction going on quite yet, like no buildings going up that we can see at least. And then over where the boneyard was, that is going to be where we're going to have this amazing carousel. I've seen the concept art for the carousel, and it looks beautiful. Now, on this carousel, we're going to have it so it's several different Disney animals. So like Bambi or Thumper or Flower. I don't know why I've just focused completely on Bambi animals. But in addition to that, maybe a Iago or Raja or a lot of others. So all the different horses are going to be focused on those different Disney animals in beautiful wood carved carousel horses. Now, the thing that did bum me out when they decided to close up Dinoland USA was that we lost Triceratops Spin, which I know a lot of people are like, that's a really weird thing to get upset by, man. And I know you're thinking, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, one of the great things about Disney parks, and I don't think many people ever think about this, but let me explain why I think is. Hi, New here. What theme park is this about? This is at Disney's Animal Kingdom over at Walt Disney World that we're talking about right now. And welcome aboard. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Wait, should we see? Should we see people? We looked at our subscriber count beforehand. Haven't subscribed yet. Oh, they subscribed. Oh, yeah. Okay. We're up to 9,011. Thank you for subscribing. So, so the carvings are going to be found so Triceratops Spin. So the biggest thing about Triceratops Spin, which most people don't really think about, is one of the great things when you go to a Disney park, especially someplace like Magic Kingdom, is crowd distribution. Now, a lot of people always think about when there's a new ride, how it has to be the best, the biggest, the most amazing attraction of all time. That is not true. I honestly have it so, yes, it's great to have these e-ticket attractions, things like Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, Tron. Those are the only two that came out recently. But it's great to have those types of attractions, but it's also great when you look at things like Toy Story Land, where you have things like Slinky Dog Dash, e-ticket. Then you also have things like Alien Swirling Saucers. Alien Swirling Saucers is not the greatest ride of all time. It is a fun ride. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy Alien Swirling Saucers, but it's not the greatest ride of all time. But what it does is it takes people out of the lines of all the different attractions. So it's great to have these smaller rides like a carousel or like Triceratops Spin inside of Disney's Animal Kingdom, because Disney's Animal Kingdom is filled with so many different amazing attractions like Kilimanjaro Safaris, soon to be the Indiana Jones attraction. We also have things like Expedition Everest, Avatar. There's so many different attractions. Zootopia, Better Together now. There's so many different attractions. So it's great when they kind of disperse the crowd and have it so the crowd goes to different attractions and some of these smaller attractions, because it helps the wait times in the other rides drop down drastically. So a lot of people get really bummed out, and I've heard a few people who've been bummed out about the fact that we're getting a carousel at Disney's Animal Kingdom. And for me, I think it is one of the greatest things that Disney could have done. Also, I think it'd be pretty cool to do a crazy challenge where I have to ride every single one of those carousel horses in a single day. Just saying. Okay, in addition to that, the third attraction that we're going to be getting is going to be an Indiana Jones attraction. Now, the Indiana Jones attraction that is going to be going on here at Tropical Americas at Disney's Animal Kingdom is going to be different than the one that we have over in Disneyland. There are a lot of people still to this day who are saying it's going to be an exact duplicate of what we have over at Disneyland. Now, if you've ever gone to Disneyland from 1995 until now, you've probably been on that attraction. It's crazy now that I think about it that attraction is 30 years old. Indiana Jones is one of the most popular attractions in the entire Disneyland resort. I really enjoy it. It's not one of my top 5 attractions out there, but I do enjoy it. I always make sure I go on at least once when I'm out there. Now, if you did not know, the dinosaur track that is currently still running and operating, that's another thing that I've had so many people who've told me that it doesn't make sense that I keep on talking about how I'm going on dinosaur all the time because it closed down earlier this year. Dinoland's partially closed, but Dinosaur and Restaurantosaurus are still open, people. So go ride and go eat your last meals and your last rides over there before they're gone forever. Just saying. So as they took as they took Indiana Jones over to Dinosaur, they made a carbon copy of the same track and the same ride vehicles, just with a completely different overlay. In fact, if you've ever gone on Dinosaur, or if you've ever read my book, A Closer Look at the Animal Kingdom's Dinoland USA, in this book, I do point out that one ride vehicle and one ride vehicle only has actually been on the track for Indiana Jones out in Disneyland and then made its way over here. It's car number 7. So if you ever go on number 7 of Dinosaur between now and when it closes, you can be like, hey, I've technically been on a ride vehicle that is on both coasts. So the Indiana Jones attraction that we're getting in Disney's Animal Kingdom is not the same Indiana Jones attraction story that we have over in Disneyland. We're going to have a completely new story, a brand new story, where now Indy is going off to Tropical Americas to find a completely different thing than the Temple of the Golden Eye, which is what we found over in Disneyland. In fact, if you go through the history of Indiana Jones attractions around the parks, there are multiple different Indiana Jones attractions. Not one of them is the same. They all have a completely different storyline than the other ones. So Disneyland has one, Disneyland Paris has one. Over at Hollywood Studios, we've got the Stunt Show. We will have a brand new storyline here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and Tokyo has one as well. So multiple Indiana Jones attractions, all of them with completely different storylines and completely different scenes. So there we go. Okay, so going from Tropical Americas, let's make our way over to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now, over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, of course, yet again, Brent Dodge is crushed because we did lose Muppet Vision 3D. I understand what's going on this year because there has been so many closures and there's been so many tears shed. I have cried a lot this year, and I'm not even joking. I really have cried a lot. Because I loved Muppet Vision 3D. I love Dinoland. I love Tom Sawyer Island, which we're going to be getting to in just a few minutes here as well. But let's talk a little bit about the destruction and the rebirth of the area that is on Grand Avenue over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So over at Grand Avenue, we had Grand Avenue Park, which was home to Muppet Vision 3D. Also, people would refer to it as the Muppets Courtyard. Now, the Muppets Courtyard has completely been demolished. Well, not completely, but the entire central area is completely gone. So if you ever went to the Stage 1 Company store, which was also the Muppet store, that building is completely gone. Like, if you go to the other side of Grand Avenue and you look over the fence, you can see that building is completely gone. And you can also see Mama Melrose now from Grand Avenue, which you've never been able to see before. So it is kind of a crazy situation that's going on over there. But what is going to be coming there instead? We will be getting Monstropolis. Now, Monstropolis, of course, is the city that is found in the hit 2001 film Monsters, Inc., starring Mike Wazowski and Sully. Now, if you've ever experienced or if you've ever watched Monsters, Inc., then you know that at the very end of that film, there is that classic chase scene with the Doors where Mike and Sully are chasing after Randall, who has kidnapped Boo, and they're going through all these different doors. That's going to be the roller coaster that is going to be found inside of this brand new land. So this brand new experience is going to be the very first ever hanging roller coaster in any Disney park anywhere in the world. So feet will actually be dangling. There's a lot of parks that have these. I've been on multiple ones of these roller coasters. They're very fun. They used to have one. So I used to be an annual pass holder at Six Flags Great America up in Gurnee, Illinois, which is right at the border of Wisconsin and Illinois. And so my high school summers used to be, and people would go down there and experience the rides. And there was a Batman roller coaster that was one of these hanging ones. And I was obsessed with it. It was just such a great attraction. But that's going to be what the Monsters Inc. attraction is going to be. Coasters, and it looks like we're going to be going through and having it so we're hanging from the door, much like at the end of the film. In addition to that, there's a few other locations that are still going to be in place. Now, we still have Restaurantosaur, or not, I'm sorry, no, I'm going back to the other one. We still have Pizza Rizzo is still standing strong over in this area. That will be completely rethemed to a quick service Muppet, or not Muppet, a Monsters Inc. restaurant. We'll have Mama Melrose is still standing strong, and that will be transforming into a Harryhausen's, is what I'm assuming. Obviously, the restaurant that Mike Wazowski brought Cecilia on their date in the film. The only big question that we still have about Monstropolis is what on earth is going to happen to the Muppet Vision 3D theater. Now, there are a few things out online. I have my own ideas, but my main idea is I kind of feel like we're going to get Monsters, Monsters Inc. Floor from Tomorrowland over at Magic Kingdom. I feel like that's going to be moving from Magic Kingdom over to Monstropolis into Disney's Hollywood Studios, and then over at Monsters Inc. Floor and Hollywood Studios, or I'm sorry, Magic Kingdom, I feel like we're going to be getting a brand new attraction. I could be 100% wrong, but that's my number one initial thought, but I could be wrong. In addition to that, I kind of feel like we do have enough room over there to possibly bring over Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue, which will be closing up next year, early next year, over at California Adventure. And I kind of feel like they could potentially bring all of those set pieces across the country and place it inside of where Muppet Vision 3D was. Now, Muppet Vision 3D building is fairly big. It wouldn't fit that entire attraction. However, they do have enough room to expand further back as well and make that an attraction over here as well. I could be wrong. I have no idea. But I think it would be great if they brought in two attractions in the form of Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor along with this roller coaster as well, giving both types of ride highs, one of them with a slower, darker attraction and another one with a great roller coaster as well. The final thing that we're going to be talking about tonight is the destruction of Tom Sawyer Island to make way for Cars Land. Well, not Cars Land, but the Cars themed area in Frontierland and Villains Land. So yet again, earlier this year, Disney decided to tear up my heart, stomp on it a little bit, and make me cry inside the Magic Kingdom. This one was possibly the most difficult one for me to have or to get through. Again, I wrote a book about this too. Closer look at the Magic Kingdom's Frontierland. And look, there's even Tom Sawyer Island wrap that's right there on the front cover. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to do a rewrite of lots of things. Tom Sawyer Island has always been one of my favorite sections in any Disney park. And I'm not saying that because it's gone now. If you ask some of my closest friends, they will tell you that I've always said that about Tom Sawyer Island. Actually, if you look right here, let me get it off the wall here. This is a pin for 45 years of Tom Sawyer Island. This would have came out about 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't remember how many years ago. But I've always loved Tom Sawyer Island. This is one of my friends gave this to me because she knows how much I love Tom Sawyer Island. And now it's not going to go back to where there it goes. It's always been one of the places that I just always would go to almost every single time I was at Magic Kingdom. And there was a lot of people who were driving me crazy on that last week because I could tell that none of them really cared. But at the same time, they were like, oh, I love Tom Sawyer Island. Although I've never been out here before. I love it so much. So with Tom Sawyer Island closing, the thing that does make sense to me is about a month before they actually announced the closures. It's kind of crazy because I was like, I called it and I really regret calling it. I was doing a video, and while I was filming the video inside of Fort Langhorne, I was looking around and I was the only person in Fort Langhorne. And I said, I'm terrified because I know someday Disney's going to make the announcement that this area is closing up because look, there's no one here. It was like a week later they announced that it would be closing up permanently to make way for a Cars area inside of Frontierland and a Villains Land. So let's talk a little bit about those two lands, and then we're going to go to questions if anyone out there has any questions before we wrap up this bad boy. So, first off, Frontierland with Cars, part of it doesn't make sense. I get it. Part of it does make sense. I get that too. But I think the one thing that we can all agree on is Disney really messed up because they should have renamed this entire area to Frontierland. I think just move the E and R around, make it Frontierland, and I think it would have been hilarious. But sadly, Disney does not pay my bills. Well, I guess it kind of pays my bills because I do these videos. So they are going to have two different attractions inside of the Cars themed area. One of them is going to be an off-road adventure, and in addition to that, there's also going to be a smaller ride for smaller visitors. So I'm guessing that the other ride that we're going to get is going to be something similar to Mater's Junkyard Jamboree that you can find over at California Adventure right now in Cars Land. I don't know for a fact if that's going to be what it is. It could be completely different, and it could be something that completely blows us all away. Overall, it does look like it's going to fit in with the theme pretty well. I trust the Imagineers that they're going to have it so everything kind of comes together perfectly with the Frontierland theme involving cars. I know there's a lot of people out there who are really mad at the Imagineers, and I can't get mad at the Imagineers. I always say you just kind of have to go through, trust the process, and hope for the time being that what they're going to do is going to be the right decision, and it's going to, completely blown away. In addition to those two attractions, we're going to have behind that area. When I say behind that area, I mean if you are with Frontierland behind you, like the village itself of Frontierland behind you, and you're looking out at where Tom Sawyer Island was, past that, we're going to have it so behind the Haunted Mansion 2, we're going to have a brand new Villains Land. Now, in the Villains Land, we are going to have a few different things. Number one, we're going to have a brand new roller coaster. We don't know exactly what kind of roller coaster yet. It looks like it goes underwater in the concept art, which I know is not going to happen, but we might have it so it feels like you go underwater, but I don't think they're going to be like, okay, in order to go on this, you have to hold your breath for 27 seconds. And if the attraction does break down underwater, hopefully you can hold your breath for at least 20 minutes before the paramedics show up. Also, that would be kind of crazy. We will have that. We will also most likely have a dark ride. And then in addition to that, I've been saying it for months now, I am 95% positive that the Villains show that is currently being played next to Rock and Roller Coaster will be moving to Villains Land as well. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that that's going to move. And then the location where the Villains show currently sits will become Muppet Vision 3D because Rock and Roller Coaster is also going to be getting a remodel at sometime next year. And when that goes through its remodel, it's going to become the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster. So a lot of different changes, a lot of moving pieces. In addition to all that, we also have the Magic of Disney Animation opening up later on in 2026. I was going to say later on this year. I have no concept of time right now. One of my friends was talking to me the other day about how crazy this year has been. And I was like, yeah, it's been really crazy. And in my head, it was like March. And then all of a sudden it hit me that it's November. And so I was like, I don't even know any concept of time anymore. But we will have the Magic of Disney Animation open up sometime in 2026. That construction is already going on over there as well. But over in Animal Kingdom, to do a quick recap, over in Disney's Animal Kingdom, we do have Zootopia Better Together opening up this coming up Friday, like I said throughout the whole thing, we have a little recap video that will be coming out on my YouTube channel, this channel right here, tomorrow morning. So make sure to watch out for that. We're also going to have Tropical Americas taking the place of Dinoland USA over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. We will be losing, or we already have lost, Muppet Vision 3D in the Muppets Courtyard. That's going to be replaced by Monstropolis over by where Star Wars Launch Bay was. That has gone away to make way for the Magic of Disney Animation. I feel like Muppet Vision 3D will be coming back sometime in the near future. And we also have Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets coming out at some point in 2026 as well. And then over at Magic Kingdom, we have lost Tom Sawyer Island to make way for a Cars Land, Front Tire Land, in my personal opinion, the greatest name that you could come up with, and the Villains Land as well. Before we wrap up here, if anyone out there has any questions, throw those questions out into the comments right now. While you guys throw your questions or potential questions, let's check to see if we are still 2011. We are. Okay, I thought we were going to get another person. But welcome to that Jesse who was in the chat room. I appreciate that subscribe. Come on, 912. Should we stay on there first? We'll stay on there for a few seconds because we do have a few people who are watching. They might not be our regular people that are usually. I think I'm most excited about Cars Land. Ooh, that's a good question. Let me know in the comments. Which land are you most excited about? I think I'm most excited for Villains Land. I think villains are severely underrepresented in the parks, with the exception of Phantasmic. So I'm extremely excited for us to check out Villains Land in the, I was going to say very near future, but it's not going to be very near. But in the future, I'm excited for us to check that out as well. We're still sitting at the 9,011. We're going to keep it up for another 30 seconds. If we don't get one in the next 30 seconds, then we'll go back to me on the big screen here. But yeah, no, I'm extremely excited for Villains Land. I'm excited for Tropical Americas and to do Indiana Jones, and I think the Encanto attraction is going to be great. I'm also very excited about the carousel. But yeah, no, this week or today when I was able to go check out the brand new Zootopia attraction, it was a really fun attraction. I'm very excited for other people that have the opportunity to go experience it. Starting on Friday. So if you are in Disney at all, Friday or later, I highly recommend going to check it out. The animatronic for Clawhauser was insanely impressive. The Hate Bub was the funniest. Oh my gosh, I can't think about it right now. But the way that they were shooting out the water like it was saliva was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so funny. Oh wait, that's one of those shows. My nephew and niece who come down, they usually come down once a year. They're both gonna love that part of the show. Like I'm calling that right now. I think they're both gonna just absolutely die of hysterics as well. Oh wait, but it looks like we don't have any other questions going out in the chat room right now, so we are going to be wrapping this up right here. Like I said, this coming up Saturday for our Saturday in the Park. I don't know exactly what time it's going to be, so just make sure you have those notifications on. That way you do not miss out when we hop on the ship. Next week, we will be coming to you live from the Disney Treasure, so make sure to join us for that. But as always, tonight's episode was sponsored by our Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out there in the chat room right now, give us an oh yeah. Thank you everyone out there for joining us once again this week. I hope all of you guys enjoyed the show. As always, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. But remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, everyone, have a great day. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks just can't stand this kind of pressure. Jiminy